The meadow had once been a memory, a place suspended in time where everything else, vampires, humans, death, desire, seemed not to exist. There Bella Swan once felt the world stop. There was where she fell in love with Edward. And there was where, this time, everything ended. After Edward left her in the forest, Bella was never the same. She didn't speak. She didn't eat. She didn't dream. She only waited to feel something. Waited, hoping he had lied. And when she couldn't take it anymore, she returned to the only place where her memory still had a pulse, the meadow. The flowers were dry, the sky overcast, and the breeze cold. Bella sat among the withered grass, closed her eyes, and wished, just for a second, that Edward would return, that he would appear like before, silent, beautiful, impossible. And then she heard footsteps, but they weren't his. They weren't soft. They were heavier, slower, more hungry. Laurent appeared at the edge of the meadow like a floating shadow. His gaze was curious, almost amused. "Isabella Swan, what a surprise to see you here, so alone." Bella stood up with difficulty. "What are you doing here?" Laurent smiled. "Victoria sent me, though I must confess I've developed a personal interest." She took a step back. "The Cullens, they're gone. I know, that's why you're still alive." And then his smile faded. "But not for long," Bella screamed. She ran. But Laurent was faster, too fast. He caught her in seconds. And when he grabbed her shoulders, it wasn't with rage, it was with cold purpose, as if the choice had already been made. "I could kill you now, or," she trembled. He leaned toward her neck, "or I could make this last a bit longer." And then he bit her. Not to kill. Not yet. He injected her with venom, to watch her twist, to watch her become, as if she were his toy, his trophy, his revenge for the friend he lost. And when he left her on the ground, burning in the fire of transformation, Laurent vanished. The wolves arrived an hour later. Too late to save her, too late to stop what was coming. Jacob stopped at the edge of the meadow and howled, not as a wolf, as a son, as a friend, as someone who had failed. And seeing Bella's body trembling, wrapped in invisible fire, he knew she was no longer his, no longer of Forks, no longer Edward's. She belonged to the darkness. 3 days later, Bella opened her eyes, red, cold, alone. No one was waiting, no hands to calm her, no voices to guide her, only thirst and guilt and fear. And Bella Swan disappeared from the world. When Edward returned to Forks, months later, it was only to see with his own eyes that she was alive. Not because he believed it, but because he couldn't bear the thought she might be dead. But Charlie no longer spoke to anyone. The wolves wouldn't let him cross. And Alice only looked at him with sadness. "You're too late." Edward dropped to his knees. "Where is she?" Alice shook her head. "I don't know. She left, and she won't let us see her." Edward stayed in the woods for days, waiting, just as she had waited for him. And the universe, in perfect punishment, remained silent. When they learned what Laurent had done, the Cullens hunted him. It was quick. It wasn't enough, because the damage was already done. And Bella was nowhere. But in every small town, every case of strange disappearances, dead animals, red eyes in the mist, someone whispered a name. And Edward listened and searched, and with every false lead he broke a little more. Meanwhile, in the north of Canada, a young vampire hunted alone. She wore whatever she could find. She didn't speak. She didn't trust. She only survived. And every time she saw her reflection, she wondered if she was still herself. And if one day, Edward would find her again. They called her many things: the Shadow of the North, the Daughter of the Night, the Clanless Vampire. But in older whispers, the ones that slipped through alleyways between covens, they knew her true name: Bella. 3 years passed. Edward crossed half the world. Every lead, every rumor, every stray newborn who spoke of a wild vampire with a broken gaze and unusual strength. He never found her. Only traces, only echoes. Only the weight of an absence that killed him slowly. Until one night, Alice found him. Her voice trembled. "She's in Alaska, alone, but not for long. The Volturi have seen her too." Edward didn't ask more. He just ran, as if each step could erase the years, the pain, the mistake. And when he arrived at a frozen forest where the silence was so deep not even the wind dared to move, he saw her. Bella stood on a frozen lake, eyes finally golden, worn clothes, her face stronger, sadder, more her. Edward didn't approach right away. He watched and waited. She felt him before she saw him. "I thought you wouldn't come." He swallowed, uselessly. "I thought you wouldn't want to see me." For a long time I didn't, she confessed gently. Then I only wanted you to come if you still recognized me. And I did. Always. Bella turned slowly. Her gaze held no anger, only memory. I'm not who I was, Edward. Neither am I. Laurent turned me without permission, abandoned me. I woke up alone. I almost killed a child on my second day. Edward clenched his fists. I know. You didn't save me. He lowered his head. I didn't know how. Silence. A long one. Then she took a step. Just one. Would you have loved me the same if you'd met me like this first? If I had been this? Edward looked at her. I would have loved you the same if you were fire, ice, or shadow. I didn't fall for your form. I fell for the way you fought to keep feeling, even when the world tried to take that from you. Bella closed her eyes, and for a moment the lake's cold felt less brutal. But then, they arrived. Like a storm of marble and mist. The Volturi, Felix, Dimitri, Jane, and Arrow with his polite smile. Bella Swan, what a fascinating story you've written. Edward stepped in front of her. Don't touch her. Arrow raised a hand. I haven't come to destroy, only to propose. A creature with your self-control, your origin, your story, would be invaluable to us. Bella didn't answer. She just looked at him. I was alone when I needed someone most. Your clan didn't help me, didn't offer family. But we offer you purpose, Arrow said softly. Bella stepped closer. Edward tensed, but she only said, My purpose is not to become what you expect of me. Arrow sighed. What a waste, and turned. Let's go, for now. Jane looked at her with something that resembled respect, and they vanished. When silence returned, Bella stood still. I never imagined being this. Edward took her hand. No one imagines their eternity, they just find it. She looked at him. And if I'm not the Bella you loved, then I'll be the Edward who loves you now. They didn't return to Forks, not yet, but they found a cabin and a quiet forest. And for the first time, Bella slept, not because she needed to, but because, next to him, the world felt safe again, even if only for a few hours. And when she woke, she was no longer alone, nor lost, nor defined by the wound. She was Bella, reborn, finally, loved as she was, not as she had been. And the meadow that had once been her grave could now become the garden where her second life began, free, chosen, eternal, and truly hers.